Welcome to our review on bacterial diseases. So when we're thinking about the other types of pathogen that can cause diseases, then the second type we need to consider are the bacteria. So the first example we're going to look at is Salmonella. So Salmonella, as obviously the title of this video suggests, is caused by the Salmonella bacterium, and it's spread through when we eat food that's been contaminated with the bacteria. What you'll find is if you do become infected with it, then between 8 and 72 hours after you've eaten that infected food, then you're going to develop a fever, stomach cramps, vomiting and diarrhea, which can be simultaneous, so not the most pleasant thing. In terms of how we can prevent this, then first of all we can actually vaccinate the poultry. So what we're doing there is, rather than vaccinating us as humans, we're vaccinating the chickens and so forth. When we've got raw chicken, then when you're storing it, don't put it on the same shelf as your fridge as anything like the cooked meats and so forth. Anything that you're going to eat uncooked, keep the raw chicken away from it. Don't do that age-old thing of washing chicken in the sink, because all that actually does is splatter the droplets of water filled with Salmonella bacteria all over the kitchen. And also make sure you cook the food thoroughly. So don't eat raw chicken, that's just really dumb, and make sure that you wash your hands and surfaces really thoroughly after you've handled raw chicken. The second bacterial disease we're going to look at is gonorrhea. And when I say look at, you'll be pleased to know I haven't gone with the pictures of too much in this case. When we're thinking about how the bacterium is spread, it's through unprotected sex. And if you happen to become infected with the gonorrhea bacteria, then the most likely sign that you are going to have is a yellow or green discharge either from the vagina or the penis, and when you urinate there'll be this pain. The bad news though is that approximately 50% of women who become infected with gonorrhea are actually asymptomatic, which means they don't show symptoms. And that's problematic because if you don't know that you've got any symptoms, you don't know you're infected. And if it's left untreated, that's when the problems come about. Because when untreated, it can actually lead to long-term pelvic pain. It can cause fertility issues and even ectopic pregnancy, where the actual fetus starts developing outside of the uterus. And if you don't get it treated right the way through a pregnancy, when the baby's born, then it can develop incredibly severe eye infections, as you can see from the picture in the bottom right there. And this can even result in blindness for that baby. One of the good things though, because this is a bacterial disease, then we can treat it with antibiotics. And antibiotics are just a drug that you can take that kills bacterial cells. The downside though is that whereas in the past we'd be able to take penicillin and it would knock out the infection, these days we're starting to see many different antibiotic resistant strains becoming present. So the more resistant it is to our antibiotics, then the more problematic it is to actually treat it. So one of the best things that you can actually do is prevent the infection in the first place. And it's as simple as using that barrier method of contraception if you're going to engage in sex. So put a condom on it. It is worth remembering that when we're talking about bacterial diseases, it's not only restricted to animals and humans. We do also see bacterial diseases occurring in plants, but not in very large quantities. And as far as AQA are concerned, you don't actually need to know any details about them. So I've just given you a picture of one bacterial disease in a plant there to finish us off, which is crown gall disease. Hopefully at the end of this video you can recall 2 different bacterial diseases in animals, and you can also give some of the information about their symptoms, prevention and treatments.